NFT stage. Look at this place. This is the coolest stage I've been at by far.
It's important to be different. In a space like this, if you're different, you win, right? So it's great that you have that working in your favor. It's great you're capturing this, you can show it to the people, so next year you can have more people coming.
All right, guys. So, the insane future of the metaverse, VR, AR, Web3, how do NFTs incorporate into the metaverse? All questions that we'd like to answer. I'm your host, Ashton Addison, host of the Crypto Coin Show. I've heard a little bit about these guys' companies, but I would love to start off our conversation by just getting a 1-minute brief on what are you guys mainly focused on in the metaverse right now and NFTs, and then we'll dive into the questions.
Hi guys, this is Luis Casanova. I'm advisor of the Wealthy Teds, an NFT collection. And yes, I have with the Wealthy Teds, we collab with a very, very big metaverse in South America. It's named Landian, Landian.io. It's one of the biggest projects that is gonna make a lot of noise this year. It's gonna be amazing. And it's founded by Alejo Castro, the CEO. It's an amazing person and one guy you need to know. And here it's also founded by an ex-Decentraland guy. So it's a really nice project. And yes, our NFT community, what wanted to do is to start going to the metaverse, starting to do all these different things, and we start building inside the metaverse. We bought some land. And the main thing that you can offer, for instance, to your community, in terms of an NFT community, is some lands. Sorry, because I'm a little bit nervous. I didn't sleep well tonight. But yeah, thank you. No, but yes, but Landian is one of the biggest projects this year. So you need to learn about it. You need to search for it. It's something really big. It's gonna be the next big metaverse here, and please check it out. They're developing really big things. They did partnerships with very big companies in South America. For instance, Coco Bongo. They did partnerships with El Cirque du Soleil, El Circo del Sol. So they are growing, and they have a big fund beside. I think it's the next big project in the metaverse, and I think that all of us needs to start conceiving the metaverse as a new form of investment. Right now there are all kinds of projects that you can do inside the metaverse. Right now in Landian, last week they did a live concert of a very famous artist, and it was incredible. They did the music video of this artist in the metaverse, and there were more than 10,000 people assist to this concert. You can get different businesses inside the metaverse. There are
Awesome, Louis. Thank you, Charles.
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm the founder of a company called the Peach Collective, which is a global investment network that runs all the way from Dubai through to Silicon Valley. The best way to think about what I do is to consider me a sports agent for the tech world. So I see a huge amount of ventures raising some interesting rounds of capital, and we plug them into different investment networks from around the world, predominantly a family office network. For me, I'm more metaverse-centric. I absolutely love edge case metaverse technologies, so tech that sort of facilitates this next chapter of immersive experience. That's really what I'm into. And I'm really excited to explore some thinking today.
Awesome. Thanks, Charles.
Hello, everyone. Anirban this side. I'm one of the founder of play-to-earn gaming ecosystem, which is built on metaverse. And apart from being a builder, I'm also an investor. I've not an aggressive investor, but I invested in more than 10 plus companies in the metaverse segment. And most interestingly, I invest on companies which have good traction and great team. That's the fundamental thing which I always look for, and that I will always suggest to all the people out here that don't get gaga about the hype which is happening. Go to the fundamentals, see the companies who always build on basic fundamentals, who have revenues, who have product, and who have good teams. So that's the way I look metaverse or Web2, whatever you call. That's been my investment philosophy, and I would love to take your questions and would love to discuss more about the technology aspect of it. But definitely, it's a great time to. This is my first time in Tulum, and Tulum rocks, man. Seriously. And
Yeah.
this
We
club,
love Tulum.
and amazing people. I was telling one of the organizers that it has a certain sense of vibe. I've been to London, LA, lot of places, but this is one of the purest form. Maybe because it's so far from the main world. So this place has its vibe, and all the community members should ensure that this should remain like this. And I would love to interact with all of you, would get questions, and most importantly, why you should listen to me. I also have a credential, so we have built a company which has gone to over 3 million users in a span of 20 months. We have more than 100K daily active users, 500K monthly active users. We have generated a revenue more than $6.5 million. Completely bootstrapped. We have recently raised $2.5 million. We were oversubscribed. So yeah, the fundamentals are pretty strong, whether when I'm a builder or when I'm investing. So would love to discuss more in details when we start the conversation.
Sounds great.
Cool.
Thank you guys for the intros. Now, yeah, there's so many different aspects of the metaverse, in the workforce, in daily life, in everybody's work, but also in gaming as well. And I feel like, as NFTs exploded from artists, it wasn't really a traditional way that it wasn't in crypto. It was like, artists all of a sudden are expanding this to the norm. One of the ways that metaverse is expanding is through the gaming industry, right? And I've seen that some of the most popular, since the lockdowns, mobile gaming and gaming has just become so big that everybody is, in one way or another, an intense gamer or a casual gamer on their phone playing little games, right? And it seems that all of these games are going to be moving into the metaverse or NFTs or play to earn in one way or another, and eventually people are only going to be playing games where they're actually earning something that they can take away from the game. So my first question is to you, Anirban, on how do you see the metaverse fitting into gaming, and where we're at right now? It seems very early in gaming where you're starting to get play to earn, you're able to earn cryptocurrencies and NFTs in gaming. How quickly do you see this sort of expanding into the top games in the world?
Yeah. So before I get into, I believe that in the space of Web3, it consists of 4 waves. The first wave was of, you can say, the geeks, the nomads, the Satoshi Nakamoto, right? The kind of people who were, that was the first wave. The second wave were the investors, the 2017, okay? And the third wave were the artists, which you talked about, right? Artists and the gamers. And the fourth wave, which I truly believe by 2025, because the market is getting mature, all the I would say the people who want to make money out of this like short run will go out, and the fourth wave will be the wave of consumers. You look at the awareness about the thing. And now coming to back to your point that you really raised, that what is gaming in this place? Gaming is one of the few early, you can say PMF, the product market fit. Gaming and NFTs actually have the utility. If you see, people are talking about Axie Infinity, but we know who is behind Axie's recent fall. It's not something that it doesn't have utility. It's been hacked by recently by a very famous country. You know that, okay? So it's if to be precise, it's at like close to $200 billion market. The gaming, I mean, just talking about the gaming, and the market is growing at almost 8.9 CAGR. By 2025, it will be somewhere around 340. So the utility aspect of gaming, because game is also happening in a different universe, that's we commonly call it metaverse, right? Where you actually not only play and earn, but also you create your own assets which you can sell it, sell it in the NFT marketplace. So I truly believe NFTs and gaming has the first move, I would say the first product market fit in this world where you actually see a utility. Okay, and slowly the market is evolving. But that would be my 2 cents on gaming and metaverse.
Beautiful. So gaming and metaverse to me very interesting, and you're absolutely on the money around this being a utility-based play. I can actually use these NFTs. I can start to improve my experience in the metaverse with these assets. To me, what becomes super interesting when we think about the way that gaming transitions into the metaverse is around the concept of your identity, right? How do I experience social credit in this new atmosphere, right? How do these assets that I'm either building, that I'm earning, that I'm trading, that I'm investing into, how do they become this next chapter of who I am as a human? And once we start to explore this narrative of, okay, am I going to invest into assets in the real world that provide me with social credit, whether that's a car or a painting in your house or a pair of sneakers? Or am I going to start to invest in digital assets that might be a pair of sneakers that I'm wearing in a gaming scenario that might cost $20,000? Well, if I have a painting in my house, there might be 100 people that see that painting, right? But if I'm now investing a huge amount of time into this metaverse gaming ecosystem and I'm able to jump between metaverses with my assets, with my avatar, all of a sudden the assets that I'm investing into can be seen by 1 million people, 2 million people, right? So this concept of social credit, when we think about this next dimension, I think is going to be very interesting. And I think gaming is going to be the primary platform that people start to dip into that switch first.
Yes, there's something like very, very interesting in something that he said, like jumping between metaverses. Like sometimes we just focus like in one metaverse, like, hey, Sandbox, no, Decentraland, something like that, no? But like I think that the key it's in interoperability between metaverses. Like the metaverses that are gonna do great are the metaverses that are gonna be able to, like, if you have your NFTs in one metaverse, you are gonna be able to jump between them. And the ones that collide and make this a big group of metaverses, I think that are the ones that are gonna succeed. Also talking about the gaming aspects with our NFT collection, the Wealthy Teds, we are developing like play to earn games inside the metaverse, and like they are going like really, really well. Mostly the users enjoy how the experience is because they can see their avatar, they can interact with the other partners inside the community, you know, because normally they can chat through the Discord, that is the main social network that we use for the NFTs. But right now with the metaverse, you can actually play with them, see them, and interact with them. So it makes you part of a family, you know. That's what we try to transmit with the Wealthy Teds, an investment club, a big family where we all interact together and we help us grow, you know.
Great. I have another question surrounding the metaverse, not specifically in gaming, but as we see it right now with sort of the main metaverse, people hearing about Decentraland or Sandbox, and that it's really an open world. And in the future, you'll be doing everything in the metaverse, and whether you're just hanging out socially or going to your job, and part of that as well is having usability, right? And what we see in how we're going to actually enter the metaverse more immersively. You're able to go on Decentraland. You're able to just go to play.decentraland.org on the website and just go into the game, right? But what we see the metaverse in the future, either having VR goggles or AR goggles merging it with the real world, I feel like is a few steps away from somebody wanting to go in for more than a few hours before the hardware is disturbing you or something. What are your thoughts on where we're at right now and where we're heading?
Okay, before I ask, this is a very good question about the augmented reality. How many of you have watched the famous movie called Real Player One? How many? Okay. Steven Spielberg, yeah. If you have not seen that movie, you can please see that movie. That's something that my friend is talking about. That's was released way back in 2018, right? And it talks about the augmented reality, how metaverse is. See, I truly believe like metaverse is not a new place. It's a real form of extension form of your social media. Okay. The Web3 is all about your attention is moving from the real world to the virtual world. And metaverse is just, this is just the definition of metaverse, okay? Where if you see someone, like when I talk to my niece, she's just 12 years old, she spent almost like 60% of her day on online, and she now a lot of edtech companies are building metaverse projects so that they can there's something called immersive learning, okay, where they meet their friends. You see, COVID has changed the perspective. Now you have now this COVID generation spend more time online than any of us, right? And we need to accept this fact. Okay, and if I have to precisely answer your query, yes, there are a lot of technologies which are coming in, which is actually making your experience in the metaverse in a more real way. And why I'm saying this Web3 will be a game changer and already changing. If you see, the money is taken from the Facebooks and Googles to the individuals, okay? If I just talk about the play to earn game, actually, if I'm sure you all have played games in your childhood, it was a pay and play model, right? You used to pay. I was big time avid gamer. I was good in studies, but my dad always beat me up because I used to spend hours and hours in front of gaming, and he used to say, what is the use of it? But now I tell him that my gamers are spending hours and hours to play the games, and they're making living out of it. It's very strange, guys. That's the reason I'm telling you, metaverse, play to earn, Web3 is actually changing the economics, because I was telling someone in the morning that gaming will also be a profession like 10 years down the line. Like if I talk you, who are you? You will say I'm an engineer or a doctor. But 10 years down the line, gaming will also be a profession where you will play and make a living out of it. So that's the long-term vision, what I see about metaverse and gaming.
Definitely, and we're already seeing that in professional esports sort of emerging as a new industry as well.
That's only the, but that's only the 1%. That's the
For
difference.
sure.
That's what I want to mention. If you see pay and play, only the big influencers, that is the 1% of the lot, okay? They make the majority of the money. But the point which I'm trying to make over here is, in play to earn, everyone who is spending their time, whether you're a big shot or someone in Philippines or India or Brazil, you get to make money out of it. So that's the biggest difference. EA Sports made all the money, but in Web3, it's all about sharing of wealth. You know why? What's the biggest reason Web3 is getting so popularity? It's not because of the technology, because the concept of Web3 talks about equal stuff. The concept of Web3 talks about decentralization, and concept of Web3 talks about sharing of wealth. I run a company where I share 50% of wealth with my gamers. EA Sports never do that. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. That's the biggest hook, that the reason Web3 is getting so much of popularity. Okay.
Good point.
I'm conscious that when we think about the metaverse, right, we think about our avatars running around the virtual space and buying things, and that is one version of what this next chapter is going to look like, right? When we start to think about the way that we're going to consume content, it's going to fundamentally change. So, for example, I will be able to plug into my headset. I will have a cinematic experience of watching the football game, of watching the basketball game, whatever that might be. And I will be able to overlay my chosen, whether it's a betting experience that I'm overlaying, so I'm able to bet whilst watching the game, almost like a second screen experience all happening in one. Or if I'm watching Match of the Day, I'll be able to overlay my fantasy football and have that react in real time whilst I'm consuming the content. So fundamentally, the way that we're going to experience basic things will change, but the way that the industries will start addressing everything from broadcasting rights. So, for example, this is something that I'm interested in exploring right now, is if we are able to create a real-time replication of a live sporting event, take cricket, for example, right, with a 3-second delay. If I'm able to create real-time metaverse replications of that, I then own all the broadcasting rights, and I can broadcast that around the world, I can sell ads, I can do whatever, right? What if I'm able to put my virtual avatar into that live sporting event? So I am literally the 5th batsman for the UK, and I'm literally standing there about to face the ball that Shane Warne, forgive my cricket ignorance, is bowling in real life, and I'm going to face that ball, right? And maybe there's a crowd watching. Maybe I'm just the only one affecting that version of the game, and there are 1 million people affecting the same version of the game simultaneously. Right? So the way that we are shaping content, experiencing content, and reimagining our role in that content is going to change fundamentally. And I think one thing that people are really not paying enough attention to when it comes to the metaverse is how we're going to communicate, right? The way that we talk amongst each other at a fundamental level will change. The internet right now is very text-based, right? Emojis are a big deal about the way that we communicate. It's not going to be text-based in this next chapter. So we need to start thinking about sound expression. You know, I don't want to walk into a space and just be overwhelmed with noise. If there's a million virtual people in a room, I can't just be consuming all the noise. So how do we start to communicate between each other? You know, how do I have one action express this next generation of emojis, you know, that is sound-based, the most intimate connection that we have to this next level of immersive experience is through audio. So if I'm looking at an opportunity, audio is so key for me because it's intimate and it's authentic when the visual engines that we're dealing with right now are simply not there in my eyes.
That's great. I have a question for you, Louis, about, you know, we've seen a lot recently of, and Evan was just talking about it, how in NFTs, you know, a lot of famous people are starting to pick them up, but also, you know, artists, athletes are starting to build NFTs and use it as a way as well to connect more directly with their fans. And there's a lot of hype around that as well, right? And it's hard for me to understand if the valuation around that is true or if that's also being built on just the hype of NFTs in general. I'm curious on your thoughts on, you know, big influencers and artists and athletes in sports sort of utilizing this technology to connect with their fans.
Yeah, I know, like, sometimes we think that because someone is famous, like for a famous sportsman or a famous artist, he's gonna sell out, like, he's gonna sold out all his collection, but nothing to do. Like, you need to create a big community and you need to work on that and build people that is faithful to your project and that really supports you. And you need to show them that all that you're promising is like true, and you're delivering all the things that you're promising in your roadmap, and that you're really a true, like. So for the best projects, the best thing to do is like to be doxed, to be like I'm right now, like I'm a little bit nervous, you know, but I'm a real person. I'm in front of you. I'm Luis Casanovas. So this is what the community wants to do, you know. In the thing that you were telling me about the sportsman, all of that, I had an experience with a famous soccer player in Spain. We developed his NFT community and project and everything. But if you don't create like a big campaign around it with NFT influencers, people that support the space and people that have like really relevance in the space, the project is not going to succeed. We can see a lot of examples in the market that just they drop the project and it goes down. So,
for sure, yeah. And Charles, you know, I've seen a lot of like FC clubs, you know, starting to partner with crypto projects, and they're starting to do NFTs. And you just mentioned the example about, you know, the sort of a metaverse experience where you're able to actually become the player or play in the game and interact. Do you see that expanding to like all major league sports and like that's sort of the future?
Sure. So I think the immediate play for Major League Sports is around access, right? So Chelsea can get 45,000 people in their stadium. If Chelsea create a digital twin of their stadium and they start to provide, you know, whether it's VR access to the game where you can buy a new seat and there can be, you know, 100,000 people buying the same seat for $2, all of a sudden you start to think about, okay, game day revenues can go through the roof because I can sell every seat 1,000 times over rather than just selling one seat, right? So to me, that's the immediate play. If you want to think about NFTs and the access that people can get to the major sports stars through NFTs, I think that's an interesting play also. But with regards to Metaverse, it is simply about delivering the most authentic experience of a live sporting event to the masses, and I think that's the next 2, 3, 5 years.
Just want to add one point. Like, can you guys tell me like why the big artists, the most famous people, are buying NFTs? Can anyone tell me, like why? It can be it's not a monologue. You guys can participate.
Making money?
It's a good point. Fear of missing out. But I really believe that everything in the world, everything, if you are a student of philosophy or history or human psychology, right? I'm a business guy, but I love humans. I want to learn about human psychology and everything. If you go back in the past, okay, everything trickles from the top, okay? Top means, let's make it very simple. Everything trickles from the rich to the poor, rich to the media rich, then you're middle class, then the poor, right? So the NFTs are the new Lamborghinis, okay? Are the new Rolex, my friend. This is not my quote. This is Ivan's quote, right? I don't know whether he's here. So he beautifully said that, okay? And I truly believe that I want to extend that quote. I want to say that if you see car, right? Car or a phone, the best example. Everybody is clicking photos out here. This was not meant for the middle class. This was meant for the super rich, okay? Then slowly, the technology evolved. It got mass scaled, and now it's in the hands of everybody, right? Similarly, NFTs are basically people are buying. Why they're buying NFTs? Because it's a part of an identity. As my friend really said, it's a FOMO. Okay, if Neymar is buying something at a very high valuation, now he's screwed now, by the way. So they have a lot of money. They want to make their own space. They want to make their own identity. That's the reason this artist and all Richie Rich are buying the stuff, because that brings them to a club. Everybody wants to be in a privileged club. Okay, so Bored Ape is worth millions of dollars, right? So that's the reason NFTs gives you an identity. It's just like the t-shirt that I'm wearing. I cannot wear this t-shirt in the metaverse, but I can take the Bored Ape and people will, oh wow, he is a millionaire, right? So it is a sense of identity, and slowly, with the artist. So if anyone out here is an artist, this is the best time to create NFTs of your art. Because that's how that's how the rich people will make their identity in the metaverse. Okay, so, and why we are talking about metaverse? Because that's the place where people spend their most of the time. If we all spend most of the time on metaverse, then we won't be buying these t-shirts. I can be in my pajamas in my beach, and I can buy the Bored Ape and have an identity on the metaverse. Am I make sense? Yes? Cool.
All right, we're running short on time, so I have one last question for all of you guys. What is the best way for people here in the audience to capitalize on the growth and the expansion of the metaverse? You know, is it to buy NFTs and sort of find a way to use them in the metaverse, or go play in Decentraland or buy land? What would you say is a great way to start capitalizing on this opportunity?
Right now, I think that the metaverse is going to take over all the industries that we have in our normal life. For instance, like in fashion, right now they are doing like fashion shows with the different suits or the different shirts that you're gonna wear, and you can see how they fit on the avatar, and you can select like the clothes. So in fashion, you're gonna be able to invest in different fashion brands before the launch of those brands. Also, in the thing that you talk about the learning. It's a very, very interesting point, because right now, in Landian, for instance, they are building all this space for universities. You're going to be able to invest in these projects, and it's going to be like an amazing experience for all the students that are gonna read all the information that the different universities have, and they are going to interact with other students. So there are like several places inside the metaverse where you're going to be able to invest, and maybe in art with NFTs.
Great point, Charles.
I think my point would be around being intentional with where you are spending time, right? There's going to be so many different metaverses. There's going to be so many things trying to sell you land. I'd be very cautious of buying land at this point, digital real estate. And I would start to think about, where's the community going to go, right? So these metaverses will be run by virtual governments and stuff like that, and they'll play by their own rules and all of these things. And I think being aware of where the community is getting the most value, being aware of where you want to spend time, because a lot of these spaces you'll be, driven by a lot of hype, but do you actually want to spend time there, right? Like right now, there's not a lot of experiences that I want to spend time, so it's hard for me to pick a winner. If I'm investing 20-30% of my time, then I'm going to want the community to be investing time in that space also. So I think just go with your gut. Don't fall into too much of a hype train, and do what feels authentically right and where you feel you are getting value.
Yeah. So I'll just share how I invest. I've invested in dozens of companies. It's a very simple aspect because at the end of the day, you want a return on investment. You call it ROI. So I would primarily say, when you're investing, as my friend said, that don't go with hype. Check the fundamentals. Who are the people behind that NFT project? Are they legit? You can check their profile, okay? Have they delivered project that they have promised, okay? Second thing, what I always do, I don't put money where the project does not have any traction or any product. That's my way of doing. Maybe I'm wrong, but that has given me ROI. So if you're investing in a crypto project, just based on the hype, Telegram, Twitter, number of followers, then for me, you're going in the wrong direction, because direction is more important than speed. For me, my suggestion to all of you, before even putting your money into any company, check the profile of the founder, check the product, check the real traction, whether they have the actual product with actual numbers or not. Then you invest in the company, okay? And if you have the connection with the founder, then always check whether even if he's a talented guy, you should always check whether he has the right set of attitude. Maybe there could be a great rock star with a bad attitude. Don't invest on those arrogant founders. So that's the whole idea. And the lady is saying just
Awesome.
good.
Thank you
Cool.
guys.
Thanks.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
everybody.
Round of applause for these fine gentlemen. Awesome. Thanks, guys.